Hey guys, we're still here at PRI 2016 in the Ford Performance booth, and we're going to talk to Dave Borne about what's probably the biggest hit that Ford has here. It's the new Shelby GT350 FPS, or
yeah, it's a Shelby FP 350S is the name.
that's a mouthful. Yeah.
It is a mouthful, right? It's been hard to get that one right. Took us quite a while to settle on it too. Yeah, so we're really excited about this new car, right? This is our sportsman level race car, right? Just another line in our turnkey cars, following on from the Boss 302R and 302S. This is sort of the replacement to the 302S, right? But following in the turnkey race car style that we've done, last month at SEMA, we came out with the GT4, really targeted at Pro World Challenge and the IMSA classes, as well as any GT4 spec around the world, right? That car fits in for the professional racer. This is more the sportsman level car, right? So this is for guys that want to do track days, similar to what the S was, but aspire to do some racing as well. It slots into SCCA club racing, fits right in as a T1 car, would be very competitive there. They'll restrict it down to run in T2. And in Trans Am, which is making a great comeback. It's a growing series again. We're really excited about working with them. They've been running Mustangs in their TA4 class, but this thing is a little too much. I mean, they're going to have to really restrict it, but it does slot into their TA3 class, where the Vipers run and the Corvettes and the Porsches. The platform that Ford's gave us here to work with when we created this car is just so capable that we really kind of had to step up and aim for a little bit higher class. So everybody's really excited about it.
So could you give us a rundown of some of the parts that went into making this car?
Yeah, sure. So again, it is based on the Shelby GT350. The FP 350S uses many parts, right? The body in white is it's the production body in white, but we put an FIA compliant roll cage in it, same roll cage that you would get in the GT4 car, or that was in the Shelby GT350 RC that's been running in IMSA for the last year and a half. Seam welded, right, which is nice for extra stiffness. It's got the 5.2 liter engine in it, right? It is a cross plane configuration. The flat plane was exclusive to the road car and to the RC. They really wanted to keep that special for those cars. So we went back to a cross plane arrangement. But otherwise, the engine's very, very production based. There's very few changes in there. Other than the oil pan, right? It's got our 12 quart deep sump, wet sump pan, really taken from the Boss 302S, but with changes necessary to deal with the higher Gs that this car can pull, in all conditions, right? So we had to modify the baffling to be able to keep the oil pressure up. But other than that, the engine's basically production, which is, for us, it's great, right? It's proven durability. It's been through all of the durability that Ford Motor Company has to throw at a production engine, and it's just extreme what that is, right? So we know that this thing's bulletproof, and don't have any worries about any kind of durability problems with it. There's always the question about do you change the rods and things like that, right? And I mean, Ford has beat the crap out of this thing for us, so we know we're confident in everything that's on there. The other thing to change, right, was cams. The cams did have to change for the firing order, right? So it's the same lobe, same lift, same duration, but just reclocked to work with the firing order of the cross-plane engine.
What about suspension? I noticed the brakes are massively upgraded, but anything to the suspension?
Yeah. So the suspension is coilovers, right? And it's a coilover sourced from Sachs. Really, really great part, right? And it's, everything that we selected on this, it had to perform, right? But we were looking for the value part. We were trying to find the best value for our customer. While it's not going to be an inexpensive car, we're still really trying to keep the cost down and make it attainable for those track day guys that want to do it. Fellas go buy a GT350 and go to the track, and they have a great time with it. And maybe I should tear it apart. Maybe I should put a cage in it. I don't want the guy to have to do that, right? I think that this is the quick and easy way for them to do it, and it's when they do it themselves versus buying it, they're not going to be able to do it a whole lot less expensive than what we're going to sell this car for. So we tried to choose value components, is what I'm saying there. So Sachs coilovers, like I was saying, it's got upgraded bushings, right? We tried to get rid of the compliance in the suspension. That's great in a street car, but in a race car, you're okay with hearing some more things that you wouldn't want in a street car, right? So it's been stiffened up all over the place, right? Most of the bushings have been turned into solid mounts. And, you know, like obviously you can see the aero effects on this, a big splitter on the front, a big wing on the back, huge amount of downforce from those things. You know, it's funny, some folks will look at that back wing and think, well, that's just show, right? That thing is not show. You know, if you're going to take this car to VIR, we did a bunch of testing there, and you want to go flat out through the S's at 150 miles an hour, you can't do it without that big wig on the back, right? So don't think that's just for show, right? That thing's really an integral part of the system on this car.
It's funny you mentioned VIR because we've been to VIR with a Boss 302S, and you're right. It's the same style wing, and it creates a huge amount of downforce. But it's funny you mentioned the uphill S's. I'm betting this car, if you get into the berms a little bit, it'll be a whole lot more compliant than the 302S with that.
Absolutely, right. I mean, the difference in the solid axle to independent rear suspension, right? It's, it's still a Mustang, but it is a whole different Mustang to drive, and it's just so much more confidence inspiring, right? With the S, again, you could go flat out through there, in that car, but you're doing it at 8 miles an hour faster in this one, right? I mean, this thing's making nearly 100 more horsepower than the outgoing S was, right? So it's a lot of car. It's a lot of car, and it's really a blast to get behind the wheel of this thing.
Well, it sounds like a massive value, and one of the things that I like that you guys really do is you have an eye towards safety on this, with that cage and the harness and the seats and just everything that comes with it. And like you said, you can imagine somebody that bought their 350 goes to the track and gets hooked because, trust me, it's easy to get hooked on going to the track. And like you said, do you really want to cut your car apart that you probably paid an ADM for to get anyways?
That's right.
Or you could just get this.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
So I'm guessing this is going to have a part number. It's going to be in the catalog, and guys can order it, pick it up from their dealership.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they are ordered through any Ford dealer. Any Ford dealer, you can go to the parts counter and they can order this for you. I think it's an MFP3. It's an MFP 500 350S is the part number that's available now for ordering. We are taking pre-orders. As you can imagine, we've got quite a few orders between yesterday and today already. So a lot of excitement around it.
So, as far as Ford parts go, is this the most expensive thing that's ever been sold over a parts counter, or close to it?
I will say it's not the most expensive thing that's ever been sold, but it's darn close. Okay. It's darn close. Yeah.
And not a whole lot of guys go in and say, yeah, I need some brake pads, an oil filter, and a car.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
But yeah, it looks like you guys have a great build here. Not only does it look like it's extremely functional, it just looks great too. With the body and
with the styling.
And like you said, some people may not like the wing. Yeah. You can't beat functionality.
That's
and
right.
and
right.
The carbon fiber splitter looks great. And again, functionality and yeah, it's great. Well, Matt, Dave, I appreciate your time. Thanks for walking us through this.